Zach, let's get to our next one here. To me, this is the game of the week. Washington at Maryland. Washington on FanDuel is favored by 6.5 on this one. The over-under is set at 52.5. It's more people on Maryland than they are on Washington in this one. More, I think last time I checked, it was about 60% of the spread bets are in favor of Maryland. So people liking Maryland coming off the Wisconsin win. They went through a bye week. Mike Locksley was talking about how he has adjusted the way he does his bye weeks. They used to be super physical and all about development and get better, and now a little bit more relaxed this bye week. Going into this game week now, they're kind of going into a normal game week. They're letting the guys get rested, and we'll see how that goes for him. However, Mike Locksley, 0-9. The last 9 bye weeks, coming off the bye week, he is 0-9. So definitely needs to adjust something there. We'll see if he gets to 0-10 or if Maryland can pull the upset at home over Washington in this one. A lot of talking points with Washington not winning a road game last year. They went to Rutgers. They struggled to kick. I believe that game was 21-18, and Washington just could never really get over the hump and win that game. Zach, do you see this game being a game? You think Washington's going to come out with a vengeance? What are your thoughts?
So this game actually, my score does not reflect how scared I am about this game. Because I think Maryland's got a great shot to win. You've got it in our show notes. Like Stewart leads the Big Ten in quarterback pressures. That defensive line, those young defenders are legit. Like as much as we talk about Malik Washington, those two defenders might be more of the impact freshmen than Malik Washington is. And that's saying something because I think Malik Washington has been like we talk a lot about Bryce Underwood. He may be just as impactful, if not more so, as a freshman quarterback.
Like ESPN ranked him like the number 1 freshman in the nation this week.
Yeah. So like I'm really excited about this Maryland team, which I know shocks people because everybody knows me as the Fire Locksley guy. Not this year. I don't feel that way this year.
You're switching it up. Fire Kirk Ferentz now.
No, retirement.
Okay, sorry.
But no, Fire Fickle.
I need to listen to the Fire Coaches podcast more. Sorry.
Yeah, Fire Fickle. That's the one. Hence why I have no hope for them against Michigan. But this is the other thing. If this were neutral field, Washington should win. But it's not neutral field. Jedd Fisch has struggled. I think Jedd Fisch has struggled as offensive coordinator, like calling plays while also being head coach. They're going across the country to the East Coast. Remember last year they went to Rutgers against a team that they should have beat, and Rutgers beat them, right? So there's a lot of things about this game where you're like, I really don't love it. It makes sense why everybody's picking Maryland.
Well, and I don't love it either because you're most likely not going to have Carver Willis, the starting left tackle for this team, and Sydney Stewart leads the Big Ten in pressures right now. My gosh, Sydney Stewart. I'm going to be honest. I like Malik Washington. Don't get me wrong. I like Sydney Stewart better. Holy cow, he is such a dude, and he is great on that defensive line. Gets after the quarterback so well. He just has a knack for being able to get to the quarterback as well. They will obviously sometimes get the ball away before he gets to the quarterback to sack him, but man, he does a great job of getting to the quarterback. But I mean, I think a lot of people are going to talk about Malik Washington and everything for this for this Maryland team, but I'm looking at this defense a lot with Carver Willis out. The run defense lately, they've held teams under 3 yards per carry. I think Jonah Coleman is actually the biggest X factor for Washington in this game with the offensive line not looking as good with Carver Willis most likely being out. They might have to move John Mills, the starting guard, who's a true freshman, out to left tackle. We'll see how that's going to work. Yep. But true freshman John Mills on true freshman Sydney Stewart, that's going to be a really cool matchup. On the offensive end for Maryland, you have Zach Durfee on the Washington side. He's out, so you're getting some less pressure there. They have some guys behind him. I think Washington does have a deep defensive line, but I don't think they have the same kind of playmaker like you do Zach Durfee. If you lost somebody else on that defensive line, I think you would have been maybe set up to be able to withstand that, but not losing Zach Durfee, and
Yeah, he's really
Jedd
good.
Fisch did not sound super confident that he was going to come back. And then you also have the linebacker Manu. He's going to be out. Takario Davis. Jedd Fisch said he's hopeful he comes back, but I mean this is not looking like a good situation for Washington on the road. All the injuries. Just mentioned Daniel Wingate. He's fantastic. Jalen Huskies had a great year. I'm more confident in Maryland getting this win because of the defense than I am about Malik Washington. And that's not me being down on Malik Washington. That's me saying this defense is really freaking good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good defense. And that gives Malik Washington more time to develop, which I think is like you look at how Maryland has been the first few weeks. Like the offense has had good moments, but the reason why they can kind of wait to develop the offense, it's actually in a lot of ways it's similar to Ohio State, right? Their defense has done great against FAU, only 7 points allowed. Against Northern Illinois, who offensively they struggled, but they only allowed 9 points. Against Wisconsin, they only allowed 10. Against Towson, who I'm sure, Towson, who cares, but 17. Like, so the most points they've allowed is 17 points at this point. Here's my counterpoint though. This is easily the best offense they have played. And it's not
Yes.
close. And you said the X factor is Jonah Coleman. I will go not one better, but I will go a 1B to your 1A, and it's Damon Williams. I think people are going to look at what Ohio State's defense did to Damon Williams and say, oh, he's actually not all that. No, it's just Arvell Reese is insane. And Matt Patricia's defense was uniquely designed to contain and spy all game long. And my big question philosophically is, can Mike Locksley and his defensive coordinator, can they engineer a defense to contain a quarterback as dynamic and explosive as Damon Williams?
Ted Monachino is your man for the job, Zach. He's going to get it done. He's gonna contain Damon Williams. He's gonna stop Jonah Coleman. And I got a reckless, possibly, what was the other word I used? I was on a roll there.
Reckless and irresponsible.
I have a reckless and irresponsible pick. Not really, because Maryland really could win this game.
I don't think it's
it's really,
irresponsible
really
or
good. But I think Maryland's going to win this game 27-4. I think Maryland's going to get it at home. I think you might see
27-4
or 27-24. Sorry. Two safeties. Let's see how that goes. 27-24. I think Washington could struggle on the road again. I think the biggest thing for Maryland, number one, is stop Jonah Coleman, and then number two is third down. They have got to be better on third down because they've not been able to run the ball. They've not done a great job of converting those third downs. If they can convert those third downs in this game, I'm not necessarily saying they have to run the ball for 100 yards, but if they can open it up a little bit more, get some better movement on first down, get themselves in more third and manageable situations, I think this Maryland team can get the win. But that's the thing, right? Can Washington's defense step up and not let that happen? Other teams have scored on Washington's defense. I know Ohio State only scored 24, but you had the fumble punt. They did have a goal line stand, so you give them credit there, but Ohio State did move the ball. I think it was 45 yards on that opening drive, so it's going to be really interesting here how it plays out. But this is one of the best games we'll see all week, I think, and it's kind of under the radar.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a really fun game. I'm going to go against the grain with you on this. David Greenshield made a good point here that Williams made some very high level throws against OSU, and Ohio State's back
Williams
seven
was good.
Is the best back seven in the country. Damon is the X factor. To me, Damon Williams, if you look at the defense for Maryland, Todd Monachino's done a great job. This is the first time that they are going to have to play disciplined, contained football, and you're asking freshmen to play contain. I don't think that's going to be a recipe for success. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think they're going to overrun some plays, and I think Damon Williams is going to sting them. both in the run and the pass game, both in running for first downs, but also escaping and then finding Denzel Boston. I believe it's Prysock. That's the corner. I'm trying to remember his other Amari Evans, the freshman receivers. I think Damon Williams is going to be able to do business on this defense. And that is not to say that I think Maryland's defense is bad. I just think, again, it's about matchups. I think even with the matchup of a freshman left tackle against Sydney Stewart, against other quarterbacks, I'd be like, yes, that is a terrible matchup. Against a guy as elusive as Damon Williams, I think that actually could benefit Washington in the fact that you're getting an aggressive edge rusher to then overrun plays. So I just think that Washington's going to have a couple of counter punches here because of Damon Williams and because of the explosiveness on the outside. I like Washington 34-21.
All right. We'll see if Maryland's defense is up to the task. I do think Maryland has some better interior defensive linemen than some people give them credit for. And then, like I said, Husky, Lakai Rowland has been a good corner for them as well this season. We'll see if they put him on Denzel Boston or how that works out. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
And I think we're in for a really, really good one.